You were not born to count coins or chase paychecks. You were not woven into existence with a barcode on your back or a balance sheet tied to your name. You were born vast, made of stardust and silence, before anyone taught you the word salary. And yet, from your first steps, the world handed you a leash called security and whispered, "Walk this path, or you will suffer." You were taught that money is hard, that it must be earned with sweat, with sacrifice, with self-erasure, that your value lives outside of you, folded in wallets or locked in digits. But this was never truth. It was hypnosis, not cast with spells and potions, but through calendars and deadlines, the hum of fluorescent lights in sterile rooms, the weight of a receipt that feels heavier than gold. They told you money is matter. But look deeper, it moves without form. It bends without touch. It is not a thing. It is a current. Money is not earned. It is invited, not by effort, but by alignment. So ask yourself, what part of you still believes your worth must be proven? You were not born afraid of lack. You learned it quietly, over time, not from threats, but from whispers, from watching your father count coins in the dark while pretending to sleep, from seeing your mother tear a coupon with the same precision a surgeon saves a life. The fear didn't shout. It seeped in the way school taught you to memorize numbers but never trust yourself. In the moment you asked for something small and someone flinched, not in anger, but in guilt. And you thought, I asked for too much. So you began to shrink, to make yourself lighter, cheaper, easier to carry, not because you lacked value, but because the world rewarded your invisibility. You began to equate comfort with danger, rest with laziness, ease with irresponsibility. And slowly, scarcity became not just a story, but a skin, a filter placed over your eyes. You stopped seeing what was possible. You only saw what was missing. This is not your fault, but it is now your responsibility, because you are not broken. You are simply running software written by ghosts. So ask yourself, what belief about money are you still borrowing from someone who never felt free? What if everything you believe about money is merely a shadow cast by something deeper you've yet to name? You were taught that money is a reward for labor, that the more you grind, the more you gain. But that model has cracks. It explains neither the calm man who earns with ease, nor the frantic one who struggles despite never resting. Look closer. Wealth is not built on effort alone, it's built on signal. What you feel becomes what you send. What you expect becomes what you allow. What you fear becomes what you attract. Money is not an object. It is a ripple, a vibration, a mirror, not tied to how many hours you work, but to the frequency you hold. A bird does not earn the sky, it simply flies. The sun does not struggle to shine, it simply radiates. Likewise, those who live in wealth often move with a quiet certainty, not louder steps. They do not chase, they receive, not because they are luckier or smarter, but because they believe in a world that flows, not one that withholds. So ask yourself, do you carry the frequency of someone who trusts abundance, or someone still waiting to be allowed to feel it? There is a strange paradox within you. You long for wealth, yet brace against it. You dream of abundance, yet tense at its doorstep. It's not your mind that resists. It's your body, somewhere deep in your wiring. Money became a warning, not a welcome, not by logic, but by memory. The memory of a parent's mood darkening at the sound of a bill, The memory of a broken toy replaced by a sigh. Not a solution. The quiet guilt you felt when asking for new shoes. Sensing the weight behind the maybe next month. Over time, your nervous system made its choice. Wealth is unstable. Receiving is risky. Having more means losing more. And so now, even as your mind reaches forward, your breath pulls back. Notice how your chest tightens when you open your banking app. How your stomach twists at the thought of charging what you're worth. How you exhale quickly after making a purchase. As if spending drains more than money, it drains safety. This is not sabotage, it's protection. Your body has not failed you. It has followed the story you gave it. But if you want to live in a new story, you must build a new vessel, one that can hold what you once feared to touch. So ask yourself, do I truly fear lack? Or do I fear the responsibility of receiving? Let me tell you about a man named Elias. You won't find him in headlines or history books, but his story echoes in the hearts of many, perhaps even yours. Elias is 54, a woodworker by trade. Hands like bark, voice like warm gravel. The kind of man who fixes what's broken without being asked. Neighbors trust him. Clients love him. But beneath his steady pace is a truth he rarely speaks. He is exhausted. Not just from long hours or worn joints, but from the silent burden of never having learned how to receive. He gives freely. Extra time. Discounted work. Late-night favors. He says yes when he means no. Smiles when he aches, not because he's weak, but because somewhere along the line, he was taught that real men carry the weight of everyone else and never set it down. This code wasn't spoken. It was modeled. His father did the same. So did his grandfather. Men who lived like stone walls, strong, silent, slowly crumbling inside. They died praised for their humility, but buried under dreams deferred and needs unmet. Elias calls it being grounded. But it's not grounding, it's gravity. A gravity that pulls him back every time he gets close to ease. He lowers his prices just before a breakthrough. He turns down abundance like it's too heavy to hold. It's not lack of skill. It's loyalty to pain. A sacred kind of suffering passed down like a family heirloom. Be good. Be generous. But never ask for more. He doesn't realize he's running old software that his nervous system still thinks ease is dangerous, and rest must be earned with sacrifice. So he stays tired. Not because he wants to be, but because being needed feels safer than being seen. And here's the truth. Elias isn't broken. He's just out of alignment with the truth he was born to live. So ask yourself, are you giving from love or from a hidden fear that receiving will make you unworthy of it? Money, like breath, was never meant to be held. It was meant to move. It belongs to the rhythm of life, not to the grip of fear. Try holding your breath out of anxiety, and what happens? You suffocate not from lack, but from resistance to flow. The same is true with wealth. It doesn't respond to force. It responds to openness. It does not bloom in clenched fists or anxious minds. It arrives in the hands that know how to let go. There is a law more ancient than finance, older than trade routes or coin. It is the law of circulation. What you hold in trust expands. What you hoard from fear contracts. Picture two rivers. One flows freely, feeding fields and forests as it winds. The other is dammed, still and stagnant, collecting rot. Now ask yourself, which one are you? Many mistake control for wisdom. They believe saving from fear is virtue. But fear-based saving is not safety. It's scarcity in disguise. True wealth is not about holding back. It's about holding space for trust, for movement, for rhythm. The oak tree does not fear dropping its leaves. It trusts the cycle. And in that surrender, it prepares to receive again. Likewise, you must become the vessel, not the dam. The current of abundance flows not to those who chase, but to those who resonate with enoughness. So, stop trying to earn the current. Become it. And ask yourself, do I spend, give, and save from fear, or from a quiet trust that life always returns what I release with grace? You don't wait for the fire to arrive before you build the hearth. You build the hearth, and the fire comes. This is the forgotten wisdom behind ritual, not superstition, but intention carved into action. A ritual is a shape your energy takes when it's ready to speak. And in the realm of wealth, what you do becomes what you declare. You don't need to feel abundant to behave like someone who is. You become abundant by rehearsing the vibration of enoughness until your nervous system stops rejecting it. That's what these rituals are, not habits, but frequency anchors. Start with this. Take a small coin, something humble, and give it away silently. Slip it beneath a stone, into a coat pocket at a bus stop, or under a stranger's windshield. Don't tell anyone. Don't expect thanks. Just say inwardly, this proves I trust the flow. This is the offering stone, a spell not of charity, but of circuitry. Then there's the gratitude ink. Each time you buy something that brings genuine joy, write its name in a small notebook. Next to it, write, money returns to me with ease. Not to cast a spell, but to rewrite the meaning of spending. No longer a loss. A message. Finally, create the overflow bowl. Each time you receive money, any amount, drop a pebble, a dried leaf, or a glass bead into the bowl. Don't spend it. Don't plan it. Just witness it. Let your body see that something is growing, that more is arriving. It's not savings. It's evidence. The bowl becomes a mirror of your expanding trust. These acts are simple, almost too small to notice, but they bypass logic. They speak directly to the body, to the energy field, to the part of you that doesn't speak English, but understands movement, texture, color, pause. So ask yourself, what story is your body telling every time you spend, receive, or give? And is it the one you still wish to live? Before manifestation was a buzzword, before abundance became a product, there were voices that whispered truths too powerful for the marketplace. Neville Goddard and Ernest Holmes, two quiet mystics who understood what most still resist, that reality is not granted. It is authored. And you are the pen. Neville didn't teach wishful thinking. He taught emotional embodiment, the art of stepping into the state of your fulfilled desire before it arrives. He said the world doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are at the level of feeling, not what you say, but what you saturate your body with. To him, imagination wasn't fantasy. It was rehearsal. He instructed his students to feel outcomes as if they had already occurred, to walk through doors that hadn't opened yet, to speak from futures not yet seen, to sleep each night in the memory of what had not yet happened. It wasn't magic. It was law, the law that the subconscious accepts what is repeated with feeling and then reshapes the outer world to match. Ernest Holmes came from another angle, but arrived at the same summit, where Neville focused on feeling. Holmes focused on thought form. He taught that the mind is a mold and the universe a mirror, that what you believe consistently, the field echoes back without judgment. To him, wealth wasn't a gift. It was a reflection, a structure built first in the mind, then seen in the world. Both men knew. You are not waiting for permission. You are shaping the signal, and the world is listening. So stop asking for proof. Live as if it's already yours, because in the realm of energy, it is. And ask yourself, if the universe only responds to who you are, not what you wish for, who have you actually been broadcasting? Most people miss wealth not because it's absent, but because they no longer recognize its shape. They search for numbers and forget to count moments. They chase what glitters and overlook what breathes. You say you are waiting for abundance, but what if it's been whispering to you all along? In the warmth of water against your skin, in the way sunlight rests gently on your windowsill, in the unexpected laugh that breaks a heavy day in half. But when your eyes are trained only on currency, you go blind to the miracles that don't wear price tags. You call them normal. You call them not enough. And in doing so, you shrink the field that longs to expand around you. This is not poverty of money. It is poverty of vision, a blindness of the spirit that cannot feel full unless the account is. But the soul does not eat digits. It drinks meaning. It feeds on presence. A cancelled meeting that gave you stillness. A missed train that kept you from a place you didn't need to be. A broken plan that broke open space for something better. This is wealth in disguise. True abundance is not loud. It doesn't need to shout. It is quiet, subtle. It moves through the cracks of your life, waiting to be seen. Not by the eyes that count, but by the eyes that recognize, because what you honor expands, and what you ignore withdraws. The universe is not holding back. It's simply responding to your ability to notice. So ask yourself, am I truly lacking, or am I simply failing to see how richly I am already held? What if the path to wealth was never a path at all, but a return, not a ladder to climb, not a persona to adopt, but a shedding, a remembering of what you were before the world told you to become something else? This journey has not been about chasing money. It's been about reclaiming self, about seeing how pain shaped your posture, how fear trained your breath, and how inherited scarcity became the lens through which you viewed everything. But that lens is not your nature. It was learned, and now it can be unlearned. The shift begins not with strategy, but with state, not with more effort, but with more presence. Wealth, at its truest form, is not accumulation. It's alignment. It's the moment your nervous system exhales and your inner world stops bracing for loss. It's the moment you stop asking life to prove your worth and start expressing the worth that was never in question. So ask yourself, what part of me is finally ready to stop surviving and start remembering? You were not sent here to beg for abundance. You were sent here to become it, not through striving, but through stillness, not through collecting, but through becoming a conduit. You are not the seeker of the current. You are its source. The river doesn't ask permission to flow. It moves because that is its nature. And so must you. You are not the noise, you are the tone beneath it. You are not a wave trying to crash. You are the ocean remembering its rhythm. When you stop chasing and begin embodying, reality shifts. Not instantly, but inevitably. because energy always answers identity. So walk not with urgency, but with truth. Speak not with desperation, but with knowing, and live not in pursuit, but in resonance. The current is not out there. It has always been inside you. And now, you remember. So ask yourself, if I stopped striving today, who would I finally have space to become?